Well, today we're going to be talking about a major transit that is occurring in the month of March, and that's going to be Saturn changing signs finally after almost 2.5 years. So, this is a really major change in everyone's lives. And during this transit, we can expect even a lot of major collective karma to be occurring since Saturn is the planet of major lessons. Now, in this video, I am going to be taking a look at all 12 signs. So make sure you check out your ascendant sign and your moon sign to get a general idea of what kind of karma you're going to be facing during this next almost 3 year transit. So if you're new to my channel, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you can get all my notifications. I practice Vedic sidereal astrology. So some people are used to Western astrology, which I know this transit wouldn't be affecting that. So just be aware that in Vedic sidereal astrology, Saturn's changing signs from Aquarius to Pisces on March 29th, 2025. If you're interested in a personal private reading, check down below for details. And also, I just want to remind you all that astrology readings, they're for entertainment purposes only. Always get professional advice from professionals. This is just a roadmap of your karma and based on your spiritual energies. So let's talk a little bit about the Saturn transit itself. Now, Saturn, the transit, like I said, starts March 29th. And then it's going to actually go all the way till February 23rd, 2028. Now, generally, the transits are 2.3 years, but because Saturn's going to be retrograde near the end of this transit, it's going to be almost 3 years long. And it's actually going to go into the sign of Aries for a little bit at the very end. So, at the very end of 2027. So, it's going to be quite a long transit. Pisces, let's talk about Pisces. It's the natural 12th house. It's the house of losses, of mysterious, dreamy like things, artistic inclinations. So, this Saturn transit going to Pisces, we could be getting a lot of secrets and a lot of, for example, people talk about disclosure or having these new revelations come forth. That could definitely be part of this Saturn transit. Expect that there's going to be new circumstances coming into your life, especially the first few months of the transit. So Saturn usually brings in the new lessons at the beginning. So from the end of March till about June, those first few months is usually when you see a lot of major changes happen. So this is a really big bellwether to change. Let's talk about a case study for a moment. When Saturn transited Capricorn back in January of 2020, and it was there till January 2023. Remember what happened in March of 2020? So there was a worldwide pandemic that happened during that time. So you see how Saturn changed signs in the January 2020, and then there was this new circumstance that kind of it hung around essentially for almost 3 years, that whole transit. That's what Saturn does. So there's going to be a new circumstance that's going to be brought to the fore. So this is going to be a very important time for all of us. So let's go ahead and dive into the signs. Like I said earlier, make sure you check your ascendant sign and your moon sign to get an idea of some of the houses that can be impacted. Now, by the way, before we dive into that, I just want to talk. I'm going to be talking about the sixth house angle and the eighth house angle from Saturn, from the house it's transiting, just to give you an idea of some of the other challenges and transformations that are going to be taking place during this transit. So if you are Aries ascendant or Aries moon, this reading is going to be for you. The 12th house, that's where Saturn's going to be when it's in Pisces. It's a time of spirituality, solitude, subconscious endings. Now, the solitude can feel forced. So sometimes there's a situation where you might feel like either you're in some sort of forced retirement, or maybe you feel emotionally forced to just kind of get away from it all. It's usually not a time of as much socializing. You're going to be letting go of past burdens. You're going to be embracing solitude, confronting hidden fears. A lot of times it's a difficult transit because you're trying to forgive the past. And so you're kind of dealing with all of the issues from the past, trying to learn to forgive it. And that's some of the issues with this. The challenge is isolation, anxiety, feeling lost, needing to set stronger emotional boundaries. You're definitely going to be in a very dark shadow kind of place during this transit. Now, let's talk about the sixth angle and the eighth angle, which I'm calling aspects. The sixth aspect is going to be on the fifth house. So, this could bring some challenges with creativity, children if you have children, and romance if you're single and you're dating. So this is going to bring challenges. It could be one of those things. It's just a pain in the neck, some of these issues with the fifth house. The eighth aspect is going to be on the seventh house, which could show if you're already in a marriage or a long-term relationship, there's some sort of deep transformation that it's going through to renegotiate the relationship and how it's working. Good luck, Aries. If you are Taurus ascendant or Taurus moon, this reading is going to be for you. The 11th house is all about friendship, networks, social networks, long-term goals, even salary is something. So, for example, during this transit, you're going to be evaluating your friendships, committing to meaningful social causes. And also, it can put a stifle on things like salary raises and increases. So, you might feel like you should be earning more money, but it's not really panning out during this transit. So, it can be difficult on a financial level with the 11th house. Um, Challenges are going to be feeling disconnected from social circles. Maybe you don't feel like you know the right people to move up in this world, and it may be hard to develop a supportive community around you. The sixth aspect is going to be on your fourth house. The fourth house can represent your mother, your house, emotional foundations. So, for example, there might be challenges with your home repairs during this time, family responsibilities. You may want to check on your mother during this time. So, those are some issues that can come up during this time. The eighth aspect is going to be on the sixth house. So, there's going to be a transformation in like your for health. Sixth house can represent like diet and exercise, health routines, but it also can represent being overworked. So, for example, working a lot of overtime, having difficulty with coworkers. That's all being transformed though, but it's kind of like there's this really slow eighth house, which is death and rebirth, that takes place during this time. So, good luck, Taurus. If you are Gemini ascendant or Gemini moon, this reading is going to be for you. Saturn's going to be in your 10th house of Pisces, which is all about career, public image, authority figures. It's going to be a lot of focus on your career, but it's also kind of difficulty on your career. It's going to be a lot of pressure on your career. So the goal is going to be building long-term career stability, mastering leadership skills, taking responsibility. Now, I don't usually see this transit. Sometimes people may think it might mean like you're unemployed or don't have a career. I see it as actually the opposite with this transit. I feel like you're actually going to be working quite a bit during this transit, but usually you're not being rewarded for it, or you're not getting recognized for the amount of leadership and responsibility that you have to put into it. So that's the difficulty. You may have like bosses that don't recognize you. You may be putting in a lot of long hours, having a lot of responsibility, and not getting the recognition and status that you really deserve. Not until the end of the transit. There's a lot of career setbacks. You may get past promotion, even though you're doing a lot. And give me a moment here while I troubleshoot the microphone for a moment. Okay. All right, let's go back to this. So, anyways, Gemini 10th house. Okay, so now let's talk about the third aspect of this, or the sixth aspect. It's going to be on your third house, which is challenges in communication, learning, and sibling relationships. Also, entrepreneurship could be challenged. So, for example, if you're trying to start a business, it could be really difficult. By the way, that little audio glitch could be the Mercury retrograde we're under. The eighth aspect is going to be on the fifth house. So your creative expression is going to be transformed. You may, for example, drop one creative expression. Like, for example, maybe you play an instrument, but you're going to get into painting or something like that. Also, romantic relationships are going to undergo transformation. And then also, there may be some transformation in your relationship because fifth house represents children, a relationship with children. So good luck, Gemini. If you are Cancer ascendant or Cancer moon, this reading is going to be for you. Saturn's going to be in your ninth house of Pisces. So this is going to impact higher learning, travel, belief systems, and even father figures because ninth house represents father. Some of the lessons are going to be seeking wisdom through education, developing disciplined faith. You may have difficult with father figures. You may have some learning or difficulty with religious figures, even traveling. So if you're doing international travel, there could be some delays or setbacks, or if you're trying to get some sort of education, there's delays and setbacks. So questioning beliefs, delays in travel or education, feeling restricted in worldview during this time. The sixth aspect is going to be on your second house. So finances are being impacted, self-worth challenges, budgeting is key. So, finances might be really difficult. Like maybe you're not able to travel. For example, sometimes these things tie together. Sometimes there might be a delay in traveling because the finances are just not there. So that's how this could be interrelated. The eighth aspect is going to be on your fourth house. So there could be a change of residence during this time. You got to check on your mother, make sure your mother's okay because of the eighth house transformation, eighth aspect on the fourth house. Your emotion, there's a big emotional healing that's going to be happening over this time too, Cancer. So good luck to you, Cancer. If you are a Leo ascendant or Leo moon, this reading is going to be for you. uh Leo, Saturn's going to be in the eighth house of Pisces in your chart. And the eighth house is transformation, shared resources, intimacy, but even things like secrets, secret agreements. So for example, during this transit, if there is an inheritance or an insurance payout or a settlement, it may be delayed for some reason. There might be some sort of issues. You also may be required during this transit to sign some sort of like non-disclosure agreements, because you're basically legally having to keep secrets. There could be difficulty with in-laws. There could be a difficulty with marital finances during this time. There could be difficulty in just like having a spiritual practice or an occult practice during this time because Saturn's taking up so much of your time. Some of the challenges are going to be facing fears of loss, navigating complex emotional or financial entanglements. This is definitely a difficult transit. There's usually some sort of emergency that arises during this transit. So that's something to realize. However, I do want to point this out. It does form something called Harsha Yoga, which you're being protected from a lot of the effects of whatever emergency is happening to you. So that's a positive side. The sixth aspect is going to be on your first house. So your identity, your self-discipline, responsibility, and even like your body, because first house represents your body, could have some issues during this time. So you got to make sure you're taking care of your health. But also just, trying to take responsibility because you might just be having an esoteric crisis. The eighth aspect is going to be on your third house, slow transformation in communication, mindset, relationships with your siblings. So that's going to be all transformed. Also, your mentality. So, third house can represent the way you think. There's a big transformation that's happening there. So, thank you and good luck, Leo. If you are Virgo, Ascendant, or Virgo Moon, this reading is going to be for you. And let me go back to that. Now, Saturn's going to be in your seventh house of Pisces, which is relationships, partnerships, and commitments. Also can represent business relationships. So developing strong, mature relationships, setting boundaries, committing to meaningful partnerships. Usually during this transit, the marriage partner or the business partner is actually going to be quite difficult. You may feel like they have a very narrow mindset in some of the challenges you're maybe facing. Like if you're facing some challenges in a relationship, you may feel like you can't really negotiate with your spouse. You may feel like that also with your boss or your employer because seventh house represents contracts. So there's some sort of like stuckness in achieving equity during this transit. There's going to be some relationship struggles, reevaluating partnerships, working through trust issues. That's definitely going to be part of this transit. Now, the sixth aspect is going to be on the 12th house. So you may have some challenges from hidden enemies, subconscious fears, and solitude that create challenges. So that's one aspect of this. You might actually be kind of forced into solitude sometimes. Now, eighth aspect is going to be on the second house. There's a transformation that's happening in your finances and your self-worth. So, for example, this transit's really transforming the sense of self-worth. And so your equity, your social equity can be transformed during this transit. So you may actually, by the end of this transit, feel like you're a higher value person than you originally were at the beginning of the transit. So Saturn's really kind of slowly transforming that. Good luck, Virgo. If you are a Libra ascendant or Libra moon, this reading is going to be for you. It's going to, this Saturn transit is going to be in your sixth house of Pisces. There's going to be a focus on work, health, daily routines. Usually when Saturn's transiting your sixth house, usually there is some sort of emergency that's kind of like biting at the heels, or imbalance. Okay. And the imbalance can take place, in your career, in your relationships. So just keep that in mind, or even your health. So you want to be careful. There's usually some area of imbalance, and it will be showing its head in the first few months of the transit. The transit is going to be meant to really try to find an effective remedy for whatever the issue is. Now, the good news about this transit is when Saturn's transit in the sixth house, it does tend to protect you from a lot of the negative effects that enemies could have. So it tends to freeze and delay those negative impacts that they may have. And sometimes people actually report that you can actually make a lot of money during this time because you're kind of like protected. It's like Saturn's protecting you from all those negative issues. Now, the sixth aspect is going to be on the 11th house. So there could be challenges with making new social connections and long term goals. Part of that can be because of enemies, because this is like these enemy karma that's coming up. It could be stifling a little bit of your social connections, social network. So it's going to be one of those issues. There's some slow growth, but you're being protected. The eighth aspect is going to be on your first house. So there's going to be a slow transformation in your identity and what you do. You may find that at the end of this transit, there's some big change you make. So either a relationship gets changed, a job or career gets changed, health routines get changed, or even like the way you think gets changed during this transit. So good luck, Libra. If you are Scorpio ascendant or Scorpio moon, this reading is going to be for you. Saturn is going to be going through your fifth house of Pisces. Now, when Saturn's going through the fifth house, it can stifle things like your creativity. You may get writer's block. It may stifle romance if you're single and you're trying to look for, someone to date. It could just create a lot of obstacles. For example, maybe you don't have a lot of time. Maybe you work a lot. Remember, Saturn normally gives us a lot of work and not enough time. So that's one of the devices it uses to block us from things. Also, you may have issues. If you have children, there can be some issues with children. For example, again, not enough resources, not enough time. So that's what Saturn typically does. The lessons are going to be learning how to take creative projects more seriously. Like, for example, maybe you have the writer's block, but Saturn's trying to teach you just to have the discipline to keep writing every day. So that's one of the things. Maybe there's difficulties and delays in romantic partnerships, but Saturn's trying to show you that you just need to keep working at it. There's going to be creative blocks, limitations in love life. And so you're going to have to really learn how to balance all that. The sixth aspect is going to be on your 10th house. There could be a lot of difficulty that's from career. So you may have a lot of difficult bosses during this time. Your career might kind of be stifled during this time. You're not getting the recognition. Fifth house is like being recognized. You're not getting that recognition. The eighth aspect's on your 12th house. So there's a transformation in your subconscious patterns and your spiritual understanding, which will actually lead to better things in the future after the transit. So if you can change those subconscious beliefs, it will help you later on down the line. So good luck, Scorpio. If you are Sagittarius ascendant or Sagittarius moon, this reading is going to be for you. Saturn's going to be going through your fourth house of Pisces. So there's a focus or there's challenges with home, family, emotional foundations, and even mother figures during this transit. One of the things usually that happens during this transit is there's some difficulty with your home. So for example, your home might need a lot of repairs. There might be a lot of money and time put in your home. Sometimes I see people move during this transit and they usually move to like a smaller house or something that's more not what they're used to. So Saturn kind of tends to downgrade your living situation during the transit. And it could be because of like a lack of financial resources or something like that. Also, there could be difficulty with just your home life. So, not a lot of support of home life during this time. There's a lot of family burdens, restrictions in personal life, a sense of emotional heaviness and responsibility because your fourth house represents your happiness. The sixth aspect is going to be on your ninth house. So, like what you believe is going to be challenged. Even your father figures might be difficult during this time. So, it's interesting. It's impacting the fourth house, mother figures, and ninth house father figures. You may just be questioning a lot of, like, you may face obstacles with travel as well. Ninth house is international travel, so it could be blocked, and it could be due to housing issues. The eighth aspect is going to be on your 11th house. So there's a slow transformation in your earnings, friendships, and networks. By the end of the transit, you'll really kind of get, your friends will kind of be vetted. You might have a better group of friends by the end, more supportive friends. You're kind of like go through that school of trying to figure out who really has your back and who doesn't. Thank you, Sagittarius, and good luck with this transit. If you're a Capricorn ascendant or Capricorn moon, this reading is going to be for you. Saturn's going to be going through your third house of Pisces. So Saturn's going to be restricting your communication. You could have difficulty with siblings, difficulty with co-workers, because third house can represent teammates or office workers, especially if you work in an office and they use things in memos like they refer to the team. There can be some difficulty there. Third house also represents the way you look at the world. So it can be a little more dark during this time, a little more pessimistic. So you're going to have to kind of deal with that, learn how to meditate, use affirmations to try to shift that so you don't get stuck in that, because Saturn represents stuck energy. During this time, you could face a lot of mental stress, difficulty expressing thoughts, struggles with learning or teaching, difficulties, again, with coworkers. Now, the sixth aspect is going to be on your eighth house, which is emotional depth, shared resources, creative, financial, psychological struggles. But it also could represent difficulty from in-laws, difficulty in marital finances if you're married, or if you're trying to get an insurance payout or inheritance, there's some sort of difficulty with trying to receive it during this time. The eighth aspect is going to be on your 10th house. There's a slow transformation in your career. It's going to be very slow, though. You may notice, over the next almost 3 years, that your job really isn't the career trajectory you're on. Maybe it really isn't fulfilling, or it really isn't meeting your needs. And so there needs to be a transformation made there. So good luck, Capricorn. If you are Aquarius ascendant or Aquarius moon, this reading is for you. It's going to be in your second house of Pisces. That's where Saturn is going to be. It's going to be impacting money, self-worth, values. This transit can be difficult as far as you may feel like you're struggling with financial issues. I mean, unless you're already really well off. Like if you're working class, it's usually like you're kind of like really struggling to make ends meet. But it's almost like Saturn's kind of like making you kind of get down to bare basics to realize like what's important in life. When life is going good, we usually don't do that self-analysis. We usually don't, go down to the level of, okay, what's really important as far as my spiritual beliefs. It takes usually Saturn doing that. This transit's going to be about building financial stability, but also reassessing personal values. So, for example, you may find out some beliefs you were taught when you were younger, or maybe you accepted, they just don't line up with reality, and you're going to have to change that during this transit. It just doesn't line up with what's happening in your life. Excuse me. Now, the challenges are going to be financial restrictions, self-worth issues, but you're going to be working through that during this transit. The sixth aspect is going to be in your seventh house. There may be some relationship challenges arise, like if you're in a business partnership or a marriage, there could be difficulty there. Also, social equity. Because of your self-worth being impacted, social equity, you may feel like you're not getting a fair bargain. So that's one of the things being worked through in this reading. The eighth aspect is going to be on your ninth house. There's a slow transformation. Accidentally the ninth house, the eighth aspect's on the ninth house. So it's actually going to be father figures, religion, travel, all that's being transformed. Not what's in the slide. I think there was a typo there. So ninth house is going to be religion, father figures, belief system. That's getting changed. Good luck, Aquarius. Now, if you are Pisces ascendant or Pisces moon, this reading is going to be for you. Now, Saturn's going to be going through your first house, which is identity, personal growth, self-discipline, but also it literally represents your body, like what you look like, who you are in your body. So this could give you, for example, when it's going through the first house, usually you have to take life more seriously. You're handed a lot more responsibility. You may feel like you're getting typecasted into a certain role during this time because Saturn represents what society is expecting of you. So you may feel like you're just under a lot of pressure from everyone around you to perform or have a certain career or something. So that's the difficulty there. There's increased responsibilities. There's a feeling of pressure to be mature during this transit. There's a slow identity changes, so you feel stuck. Maybe you feel stuck in the role that people have handed to you, and you're kind of stuck during this transit. The sixth aspect is going to be on your sixth house, obviously, and then this has to do with you may have some challenges with health, daily responsibilities. So, for example, people might be putting so much responsibility on you you're not able to go to the gym. You're not able to go on that long walk. You're not able to go out in the nature. You're not able to really plan your meals. You're not so because of the lack of time, because people are putting all this pressure on you. So that's one of the things. The eighth aspect is going to be on your eighth house. There's a deep transformation and it's going to be a deep transformation in getting to this new identity of not being typecasted anymore. So there's a slow transition and slow realization towards the end of the transit that you need to let go of this personality that's been projected on you. So that's part of the issue with this transit. So good luck, Pisces, with this transit. You're going to have a lot of responsibility, a lot of hard work. All right. So we are at the end of this video. This Saturn transit, it's going to bring up so many changes in the world. And I think a lot of us, what's interesting is when I think about the last 3 years, I think that a lot of us are ready for a big change. I think a lot of us are kind of are, you know, we see that a lot of things with the past, maybe they're not working right now. So Saturn's going to give us the ability, it's going to be a slow assessment, but there's change that's going to be happening. One of the things I wanted to bring up on the collective level is remember, if we take a look at a few astrology charts of some of the famous figures and politicians, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and even like I believe Justin Trudeau, Gavin Newsom, JD Vance, all of those people have Saturn going into the eighth house of either their ascendant chart or their moon chart. So Saturn going in the eighth house is bringing up some major transformation in those world leaders charts. And so it does feel like this time is going to be a major transformation. There's going to be a lot of secrets coming out. And I feel like we're going to get to the bottom of some things about maybe what's been preventing us as a collective from really moving forward. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below. If you want to share your sign and share with us some wisdom. So thank you so much for your comments and take care. And I'll see you in the next video.